To be successful in agent attraction, it doesn't require you to know everything there is to know about your company. All you have to do is lean on your upline. Hey there, welcome back to my epic journey. This is Brandon DeVere. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I do appreciate that. Here we are on the journey from 600 to zero, back to 600 plus, and everything that falls in between. Today, it's crunch time. I just finally saw the agenda for our event starting on Monday here in Las Vegas for the first PowerCon ever for Epique Realty. Very excited. I actually get to, I'm not closing out the day, but I will be the second to last to go on stage, and we were going to be talking to agents about their experiences within Epique. Just to give you an idea, that show and that set is essentially to, it's very difficult to discuss. Like, we have so many benefits, right? And it's very difficult to discuss what benefits are what, and people can't wrap their brains around it. That's why we get the whole it's unsustainable vibe, because it hasn't been done before. People look at it and just think that it just can't be done. They're not used to seeing a brokerage give so much. So the first thing goes off says, oh, it must be this, it must be that, it must be this, without even diving into it. So, for instance, like healthcare, like we offer healthcare. It's not like Medicaid or anything like that. It's a telehealth plan, and we have it's a little more dynamic than most people think. It's not a government assistance program, anything like that. But when you do say healthcare, most people don't know what healthcare is. Like, I can't even describe to you what, I know that there's three main types of health care ish, health insurance, health care, and health share, kind of three different types. But with these stories that we share, with the Epique experience about sharing the stories of these agents that have actually had access to these benefits and have tried them out, and have had some success with them, as opposed to just saying like healthcare. Like, you tell somebody that they have healthcare, like, oh, you get healthcare. Like, what does that mean? For the most part, nobody really knows what it means. But when you have an agent that comes up and shares a story that they're saving $150 a month because of the health share plan that's offered from Epique, like, people might not know what healthcare is, but they surely know what saving $150 a month is, right? Like, how can I take this $150 a month? So just to put that into perspective, like, our monthly fee, our main monthly fee as a solo agent, just starting with us, is going to be $149 a month. There's ways to get it $99 a month, but we'll just say $149 a month is what it is. And this agent is now getting for $100 just by being associated with Epique. She's saving $150 a month on the prescriptions that she'd be buying anyways. So now she is basically a wash. Like, she joined Epique and gets her prescriptions for free, instead of just paying out of pocket and paying at another brokerage. So that's what we'll be talking about. Stuff like that, stories of agents that are enjoying themselves and actually having those experiences. So that's what that's going to be. However, it's been kind of time consuming. We're down to the wire, and planning this event has been, it hasn't been easy. Also, putting that into the rest of your business and trying, as I'm trying to attract agents and things like that, I'm still here helping plan and stuff like that. So that's pretty exciting. We're gonna get that. I'll probably take a nice nap after it's all said and done. After this next week, from all the time that we've been putting into it. But yeah, so that's been pretty exciting. We also today went and did a disc test. Not sure if you've ever done that. I've done it like actually, I didn't do the disc test. They actually sent one for us to do later, but we discussed like what DISC is. If you haven't done one yet, I definitely check it out. It was pretty eye-opening. Even though I've done them like 4 or 5 times already, I always forget which one I am. And then I was surprised to hear what people thought I was compared to what I think I was. So, for instance, there's a book. Where's it at? I don't have it here right now. But it I can't. The title's, I'm blanking on it right now. But it's I think it's the business mindset or something like that. But it's them talking about like the reason some of these tests are hard to say if they work or not is because you're assessing yourself, right? Like, you might think you do something well or not well, but others see you as someone who does that well or does not do that well. The same thing that you think that you do really well, some people might be like, yeah, you're not very good at that. which could be a bummer for you, but also it could be a more realistic view of what you are good at. Just because you like to do something doesn't mean you're good at it, and just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you like to do it. I was thinking about that for like NFL or like pro athletes, right? Some of them are just really good at sports and they don't enjoy it. The majority of people that like sports would love to be a professional athlete. So it's hard to comprehend that some of these guys don't even like the game that they're playing. It's strictly work for them. So that was interesting. I definitely recommend checking that out. But what I wanted to get to today is, I went before that class today. I went and met with another agent that was bringing another agent on, right? Because people want to focus. It's funny, like people focus. I get comments all the time in here, elsewhere, talking about the FLQs, which I've already mentioned multiple times about the FLQs. Yes, I left EXP because my FLQs kept dropping, and I had to look into the future and go, is this sustainable to continue to have people qualify? And it was a big challenge to see that, not just me, to look across the board and see that 38 people had actually been successful to open up all 7 levels and maximize the compensation plan. So looking at that, knowing that FLQs, like especially with the style that I use, in the like the strategies that I use, I try to get on calls with my downline. And so what I tell my downline often is that, like, hey, you don't have to know everything there is to know about the company. Just start talking to them, tell them what you're excited about, and then come over to me, because the reality is most agents aren't recruiters. They don't want to be. But if they're excited about something, like most agents don't want to be recruiters, but they would love to get a rev share check. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but this is the way that they can do that. They don't have to be a recruiter. They can tell people what they like about, like, no different than writing a blog on, you play pickleball and you want to write a blog on pickleball and everything that you love, and this is the gear that you use, and you link it to Amazon, and somebody reads that article, they pay or they buy the paddle and the balls and a headband or whatever else they got going, some shorts, whatever, and you have those all listed in your article, and they buy it from Amazon, and you get paid because you referred them to that, because it's something that you like to do. Like why wouldn't you do that if you're gonna, even if it's just a few bucks? Like why wouldn't you do that? Because if you did that 100 times, 1,000 times over, it's going to turn into a few hundred, few $1,000s. So when you get to that point where you're just sharing, hey, this is what I like about this paddle, this company, and you don't know, likely you may not know everything about the paddle either, but you like it and you're going to share, or you're not a professional pickleball player, but you like these items, these parts of it, and you're going to share it with somebody, and then you get them. Then they go to Amazon and they look, okay, here's all the specs. Like this is why it's all good. Like somebody else is going to give them everything that they need to know. All you need to share with them is that you like it, and a couple reasons why you like it. Maybe it's lighter. Maybe it's, well, how light is it? How much does it weigh? Is it top heavy? Is it all this stuff? What kind of grip does it have? I don't know. It feels real good in my hand though. I have no idea. So those type of things is where I part of the reason why this model lends to my style more is because I feel like I like to learn and teach to people. And so when I know something, I can go now in this model without FLQs. I can go and actually talk to people that are on my 3rd and 4th level. In FLQ models, you'd be nuts. If you wanted to help, like if you wanted to recruit, you'd spend more time recruiting for yourself, because that's how you're going to maximize your compensation plan. In this model, I can actually go out and say, hey, agents that do want to do recruiting, do want to do agent attracting, or just maybe you're not sure if you want to, but you have a friend that likes it, but you don't necessarily know 100% the ins and outs. Lean on your upline. Have people like, and if you anybody, of course I don't have this right now, but Building Empire, Brian Carruthers, read that. If you are into agent attraction, any of that stuff, go read that. And it's an MLM book. It is. He does Legal Shield. It's MLM. Like it's the same thing. Like people want to be like skirt around it and dance around it and be like, no, you're getting paid in that way, outside of having, a garage full of, shake mixes, that get auto shipped to you. Right. It's a similar model, but it's not that. So, that's where I get excited. I used to be very nervous and be like, oh yeah, well, it's not an MLM. It's not network marketing. It's not. Embrace it. Embrace it. So anyways, in that book, Brian Carruthers, Building Empire, he will basically break down for you what it is that, how the top people are getting to the top. And it has a lot to do with leveraging your upline. You're edifying people. You're talking to someone. So for instance, if one of my agents is like, hey, I'm interested in, or I have, this is what I like about this company. It's this, it's that, blah, blah, blah. They can edify everybody above for what they've done. And say, hey, for instance, like I wrote a book. I had a bunch of people. That's part of the reason I wrote the book, was for my downline to give it out. The first reason was so it wasn't just a vomit fest on what the company, like, oh, you got to join this because of blah, right? It was so that they could give it out to, let's say they close a deal with an agent and they gave them a book and say, hey, my business partner wrote this book. I thought you might get something out of it. I had one agent that was, so again, back to which levels, I had an agent on my level 4 on the East Coast in a different country, in Canada, that would take my book, give it to someone, say, my business partner wrote this book. Do you want me to see if we can get him on a call right now? And he would text me and be like, hey, do you think we can get this guy, or do you have a minute to chat? Boom. I'd either say, yes, call me, or I'd call right then. Or if I was busy and I couldn't get to it, I either didn't respond at the moment, or just say, hey, I can't do it right now. But the idea of that was so that you had something to talk about, something different to talk about that wasn't just the company. So when the next time you called, because what was happening was you vomit all over somebody enough, the next time you call, they're not picking up. So next time you call, you give them a book. Next time you call, hey, John, I was just wondering if you got into any of that book at all. I was thinking of chapter 6 on tradition, just wondering what you thought. It made me think of you. Like that, just conversation like that. So it's not just about recruiting, not just the company. So that was one of the reasons that I did it. Another reason was to edify, right? Like if you are an author, like I get introduced even by my friends I know who've never even read my book. I get introduced as an author. And I self-published. Yes, I'm not some amazing, like, it's not a bestseller. I'll be 100% honest there. It's not a bestseller, but it's my own words. And it wasn't the other aspect of it was me giving it out to people so that they can know me. Like all these videos, all this stuff, if you watch enough of them, you're going to get to know a lot about me, right? And you're either going to like me, feel indifferent about me, possibly hate me. I mean, there's a good chance of that too. But it does all the heavy lifting for me. But it also edifies me in certain areas too, because still not, I mean, in a world of people licensing books all over the place, and saying they wrote a book, and I'll be full transparency here. I did license a book. I had to buy 100 of them. I was in this group. I gave out maybe 7. I have the other 93 in my garage in a box. And the reason that I didn't continue with them is because it wasn't my words. It didn't sound anything like me. And on top of that, I was like, I know in the future I'm going to write a book, and this will diminish the fact that I actually wrote my own book. That's how I felt about myself. I'm not judging anybody else for doing it. But the idea is that it does edify you. When somebody calls you an author, introduces you as an author, it's like instantly, maybe in younger generations, not as much, but in my generation, and above, most people are like, oh, wow, a person's an author. Like that's where people can leverage their upline. Find out what it is that's special about your upline and leverage that. Talk to people. You don't have to know everything. Obviously, make sure that your upline's good with it and they can do it. You don't just want to pass somebody off and then all of a sudden they're gone into the ether and they have no idea what they're talking about. But that's the beauty of the FLQAs, and that's what people are not really seeing much, right? They're not understanding what the FLQ and what the FLQA are, and they immediately look to that and think of if you have a low FLQA, that you're not any good at what you're doing. The reality is that I was spending a lot of time, and I still am, even more so now because I'm in the right model for me, where it's not me directly going out and trying to get everybody. It's me being available for my downline, for the ability to help them grow, which in turn helps me grow, right? So that's what I would say. If you're seeing this for the first time and you're wanting, or maybe not the first time, maybe you're just now thinking about getting into agent attraction, or maybe you've done it for a long time and you're striking out because you're trying to do it all on your own, find your upline, find the right people to discuss what, and the right people that can get in front of the people that you want to bring on over. So it all doesn't just fall on you. So anyways, just wanted to say, leverage your upline, and you're going to have a much better time, and when you're trying to do it all on your own, you're going to focus just on the result. And as we've talked about on this podcast, is that my goal for this podcast is nothing to do with views. Of course, I want as many people as possible to see it, but I also want the right people to see it. So the count doesn't necessarily mean much to me. The number of subscribers, although I've gotten way more than I thought that I would, I didn't even put a number on it. What I wanted, the comments, likes, all that stuff. Of course, those are nice to have, but that's not the metric, right? I got to focus on getting them out. And that's the same thing. When you're focusing on the result, you can be discouraged pretty fast. So if you're not bringing people over real quick, and that's what I did before, because I would focus, like, I have to get this done. This person has to join. Now I'm at such a better place of like peace of like, hey, I gave them the information. Are they interested or are they not? And it's not my job to convince somebody to be interested, because if I have to convince them now, I'm gonna have to convince them in 3 months, in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. So if I have to convince somebody originally and then every 3 months after, I could be spending time having a conversation with someone who is interested and is not taking some convincing. So leave that there. Remember, leverage your upline, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great one.